Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with What's a Rolfie, Unky, Fireman 1231, JDB Cubed, and Fireman Freddy. Let's get to the show.
Hey, welcome back, guys. This is going to be episode 2 of the Cool Fireman Podcast. The usual crews here. Today, we are going to be going over first out run assignments for various calls in your jurisdictions, whether it be structure fires, trap cut jobs, gas leaks, whatever. We're going to just discuss how it varies across the country and different states, jurisdictions, and whatnot. So we're going to kick it off, and I'll start. I work for a pretty large department in Central Virginia, and structure fire, we just kind of adjusted a little bit. We run 4 engines, 1 truck, safety officer, battalion, and at least 1 ambulance. If the square footage comes up a single family to 5,000 or more, we send a second truck. Obviously, commercials get 2 trucks. What about you guys?
Yeah, that's pretty similar to ours too. For the initial on the structure fire, we get the same thing: 4 engines, a truck. We don't get a safety officer. We do get a BC and an ambulance. And then once it's upgraded to a working structure fire, we'll get the second truck, and then we can add alarms onto that, which just is 4 more engines, and then so on and so forth.
So you start off with 4 engines?
What's that?
You start off with 4 engines?
Yeah, we start off with 4 engines and a truck and an ambulance and a BC. That's it. And then once it's upgraded, like I said, we get a second truck. Unless it's if we go into the county, they do things a lot different. And so they actually start with like 3 trucks on a commercial job.
Wow.
So anything that comes in with as a commercial, they get like 3 chiefs, which is just chaos, which you guys know.
Yeah.
And so, so it's a little different in the county, but they're kind of our big brother. But anyway.
So I work for a smaller municipality, and for us, our assignments, if you have a EMS call, because we run fire and paramedic out of our station, we transport. So any EMS call that we have, you end up getting 2 trucks, you get an ambulance, and it's either an engine or you get what we call as a squad, which is like a mini pumper. So we get 4 paramedics on scene on every EMS call at the very least. And then any type of structure fire in town, if it's not confirmed fire or smoke, then we send 2 trucks, an ambulance, and an engine. If we get multiple calls for like smoke showing or something like that, then we'll dump the city, and it'll be a full response, we call it, which is for us is a ladder truck, the mini pumper, 2 ambulances, and an engine. When we get on scene, our battalion chief usually rides the mini pumper at station 1 if he's not on the ladder. So he'll do his 360 real quick and decide whether or not he wants additional manpower. For us, we have an auto aid agreement with 2 surrounding cities. So anytime we do a full box, we're getting an engine from each of the 2 cities around us. And then outside of that, if we go to a second alarm, we do backfilling of our station, and we use Blue Card. I don't know if you guys use Blue Card at all. So it's like level 1, level 2 staging. So level 2 staging is you're going to stage at an offsite location and kind of be ready to go. Level 1 is you are at your last available point before you're committed to the scene. So in a smaller municipality, it's I think it's a little different. I've worked for 2 smaller ones, and you're on scene in 3 minutes. So you get quick knockdowns. The only time we lose a whole house is, if it's been going for a while.
Are you telling me that your BC doesn't have like a fire SUV?
Yeah.
No, he rides
fire SUV.
He rides his own truck.
His own truck.
Wow.
Yeah, he rides with another paramedic.
Wow. But he's on a piece of apparatus. He's not in a buggy.
Correct. Yeah. He's either on the ladder or the squad, we call it. It's a mini pumper.
Matt, did you get the joke about the fire SUV?
We're gonna put water on the fire.
Yeah. I want to drive the fire SUV.
That's an old video now.
That's great.
Dude, it's amazing.
What
Unky,
about you, Unc?
Well, in my department, I'm a civilian firefighter for the federal government. And at our base, we only have one engine, a quint, a battalion chief, and an ambulance. And if we're fully staffed that day, we'll have all the trucks. Usually with any call, any fire call, hazmat call, or anything special, anything outside of a regular medical call, we're dumping the whole base, as we call it. So both apparatuses are going to be going to, let's say, a possible fire. Both structural pieces, the ambulance and the battalion's going. Then dispatch is automatically calling the city. And we run with two different cities at our base. So depending on who we call and what we call for, if we just ask for just one engine or just an ambulance, we'll get that. But if we tell them, it's a possible structure fire or a working structure fire, and we only need a ladder, they'll send a whole run assignment. They'll send their battalion, 3 engines, and a ladder, an ambulance. They'll send it like it's their fire. I mean, which is fine because they're protecting their guys. They're looking out for their guys. It's their system. And when we run out of the cities, one city, we're one of 3 engines that respond to a structure fire. So it'll be 3 engines, a ladder, an ambulance, and a battalion chief for one of the cities. The other city that we run with, we're the 4th one. So they send 4 only when the Navy's involved. So they'll send us as a 4th engine out with them in the cities. That's pretty much about it.
nice.
Are they bigger footprint houses, Unk?
Say it again.
Are they bigger footprint houses? Is that why you guys send? Is that why that city sends so many apparatus?
Pretty much it's standard for all the cities in the area to send 3 engines for any kind of possible structure fire or even a fire alarm. A lot of times they'll just send 3 engines, a ladder, an ambulance, and the battalion chief. And if they have a EMS zone car, sometimes they'll go. So they'll send that naturally, and that's it. Yeah.
We don't have a truck in our city, and so we rely on outside. And but so that means like cut rescue jobs. We have cutters. We have I don't know if you guys have tried the e-tools. We have the Genesis e-tools.
Yes.
These are badass.
We have Hermatros.
Yeah.
We have Homatro now too.
Yeah.
Hurst.
And yours are e-tools too?
Yeah, we have every unit has. We still got hydraulics, but all of our trucks have a full complement of e-tools as well: cutters,
Nice.
spreaders, and a combi tool, and a ram.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we kind of have to assign one of our engines is just like the truck, if you will, has the airbags and then the e-tools on it. But
I don't know the last time we used the hydraulic tools. It's just so much faster and easier to just grab the e-tool, and they do 95% of the work that we need to do with them. So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we even went to all of we have battery saws now. All of our saws are I mean, the trucks still have some gas saws, but
Really?
we a lot of battery saws now. Every engine company now has a battery powered steel saw.
Really?
And
We just got a Milwaukee chainsaw for roof ops, and it has it. We had to purchase the attachment for the cutter's edge basically attachment to it, and I tell you what, man, it's light and that thing works.
Really?
Oh,
we
yeah.
have a battery powered cutoff saw also. It's supposed to be on our ladder truck, but of course they're not going to use it, so we carry it on our engine. I've used it on a couple of car fires.
Wow.
It's the way everything's going now.
Yeah,
Electric.
everything's. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That squad we have has a fan, a blowhard fan, a Pelican light. We've got a little combi tool that is on there for if the squad rolls up on an accident, if they're the first one there and they need to do a quick extrication.
Quick door pop. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just pop the door. And then on our ladder, we've switched out basically everything. We just bought these tower lights that Milwaukee makes. They're pretty slick. They're a 5 foot and an 8 foot. I think they are. They're telescoping, whatever. And man, they are bright. It'll turn nighttime into day.
We carry those on our ladder trucks. They're stream lights, but yeah, same thing. They're essentially a long box light, but they also telescope up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
We've
stay
got
on
two-
top of them.
Yeah.
We
We've got
found
two
out
really nice stream lights, small stream lights. They're only about yay tall, about that big, that we carry on our ladder truck. I think pretty much everybody in the county has them now, as far as our ladders go. They're expensive, but they're awesome little quick lights to grab. The first guy off the truck will grab it and take it to the front door when he goes in and just drop it there. It's so easy to portable, very portable.
when we first got our Hermatros a couple of years ago, a lot of people didn't know nothing about them. So we went out, we had them on the truck for maybe a week. Then we went out to a salvage yard to try them out, and it lasted half of a cut.
Oh,
And we've just been there for hours. And of course, nobody's got a charger because at the time they're brand new, so they weren't hardwired into our fire trucks. So luckily, other crews that were coming, has swapped out, had a fresh battery in it. Nobody knew, how long these batteries will hold sitting in the truck and not doing nothing.
yeah.
So we had to go back to the station, and just like, we checked it off on Monday is our checkoff day. It worked on Monday. Sunday it was put on the truck. We played with it. Fresh battery Monday, worked fine. Saturday, when we got to the salvage yard, died within the middle of its first cut. So we had to go back, and now we start checking it, changing the battery out no matter what, every week or every few days when we check it out. So you got to stay on top of those lights, batteries, because they'll eventually get a memory, or what they call.
Yep.
And they'll die on you really fast.
We're lucky enough to have 3 chargers on our engine in the engineer's compartment. And so when we go out and we have this place that's just out of our area that we can go to, that they bring us as many cars as we want, it's pretty cool. And we can cut all day, but we just pull the generator out, and I'll pull the battery chargers out and just be charging the batteries while we're using it, and then just swap them out. It's pretty slick.
That is slick.
I miss we had our old set before the Hermatro, at least on my truck, was Hearst, but it was electric. So it ran off the truck's generator. And it'd be nice. They probably have that option out there now. But if our pump had a plug-in cord, so if that battery, we're there for a while, granted, we're only going to be cutting for a few more minutes, and then the city squads are going to come, or one of our squads from another base are going to be coming to us. So they have all the toys for us. But if we're going to be there for a while, it'd be nice that we could run our extension cord out from the truck and plug it in if we had battery issues.
Yeah. Do you guys run a lot of cut rescues?
I was going to say, this is a good segue to talk about our run assignment for cut jobs, or, if it's confirmed trap from the get-go or possible trap, we will dispatch. You get an engine, a truck, a medic, a battalion chief, and a safety officer if it's reported as someone's possibly trapped. Freddie, what do you guys do with your small department?
So for us, we have a pretty big road. We have a 5-lane road that runs right through the middle of our town, of our city. So any accident that is on that road specifically, and if it kind of depends on if somebody's pinned or not, but any accident on that road will specifically get, because that's Station 1's jurisdiction. It's going to get the ambulance, it's going to get the squad, and then we dispatched a ladder truck, and that ladder truck parks about 500 feet back, and it takes up at least 3 lanes, and everybody knows it, but we're sacrificing that truck to kind of hopefully help the scene, and our cops are pretty good about taking 1 lane over from where the accident is, kind of right by the accident. So then we park back and take an extra lane, and it kind of filters everybody past. Because in the past, on my other department, we've had people where you park the truck as a blocker, they go around it and they cut right back in at the last second, and you're standing there working. You got cars whizzing right by your bottom side and 45 miles an hour. So,
Hey, not to interrupt, we don't have squads, so everything, when you hear me say truck, it's always a ladder truck. I mean, we do have we have rescues, but we don't. It's stationed at a TRT house, and it's only for specialty, cause of structural collapse and that kind of stuff. We it's a truck for us for everything.
that kind of goes to show the different naming that happens across the country too.
No, I mean we know we know what squads are and your rescues and things, but we just don't staff them. We don't have the staffing for that. We don't really have enough call volume to support that.
With that being said, I know like I live in a suburb of Detroit. Detroit has squads that they call squads, but they are big, like heavy rescue trucks that have a bunch of compartments.
Yeah,
and they're the specialized rescue or what have you. In my city, we have a squad, and it's a 550, with a small tank, a foam tank, and like 6 compartments, and it's completely different. So I think it's interesting. I know Northern Ohio, when you say a squad, they're talking about their ambulances. So
yeah,
it's weird how, for me at least, there isn't a standard of what we're going to call things. Now, obviously, an engine for the most part is an engine, and a truck, I think, is a ladder truck. I don't know.
of some sort.
Do you guys use the word pumper at all? Because our engine, the word pumper is kind of interchangeable with engine up here too. Like, oh, who's going to take the pumper?
Yeah, we just call it engines. I mean, but we know what it is. But yes, it's just an engine.
It's like calling a hydrant a plug.
Yeah, that's frowned upon here.
Oh, we call them plugs.
Huh?
Yeah, we call them plugs.
We just call them tops. Yeah, we're on a green top, black top, red top. We call them out there by the colors. Our type of equipment that we have in our area, we're like a large metro. So we're like a bunch of different cities in this area. And an ambulance can be called an ambulance, a medic, a rescue, a squad. Just depends on the city that surrounds us. Our trucks we got engines, ambulances. We use the P. So we'll say like, ambulance 1P. P is our paramedic. So let dispatch know we have an ALS unit on it. We got battalion chiefs. We have quints. We have a lot of quints, and we only have a few towers. So our quints are 75 feet. Our towers are 100, 105 with the bucket. That's what we've got. And being with the Department of Defense, Navy, we also have crash trucks. We call them crash trucks, ARF. So we have those in our arsenal too.
One.
We got a bunch.
Yeah, we have one of those because we have an airport here in the county. We have one that's stationed right there at the airport station. We actually just got it refurbished. Just in Oshkosh. I'm sure y'all have the same thing.
We have Oshkosh. We have E1. Probably there's a Rosenberg.
Yeah, Rosenbauer. Whatever.
Those guys.
Yeah.
We probably got one of them laying around somewhere too. Yeah.
You guys have the spacesuits?
We used to. We actually stopped doing that a handful of years ago. I had one. I was assigned to a crash at one base, and I had it. And when I first got assigned to it, did the whole Moon Man thing with the flag. It's great, but that gear is now
a nerd alert.
Yeah, buddy. Everybody gives crash or the airport side a lot of crap about it, but I loved it when I did my time on it. I had a lot of senior guys on it, very smart individuals, and it is what you make it. If you were a good crew, you had a blast.
Oh, I bet.
One small step for Unk.
Yeah.
One giant leap for Unk kind.
Yeah, but yeah, we've gone away from the silver gear, and we stick with our regular structure gear that now.
And that's got the fully automated turret on the top that you can basically sit in the cab and take care of what you need to take care of, right?
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. The ARF trucks are really cool. There's 3 seats, and at least on ours, there's 3 seats. The driver sits in the middle. You gotta basically the guy that would ride backwards on the truck. He's on your left, and on your right is your officer. And all the controls are between the driver and the officer. So there's a bumper turret and a roof turret. Then you get really fancy. So like some big airports or the Air Force itself. The Air Force, they get all the bells and whistles to all their trucks. And if they make it, they bought it. So they can have it's pretty city guys, telesquirt, the snorkel. They'll put that on there with a tip so they can pierce the side of aircrafts. or hangers, walls and stuff. And they have that option. None of our trucks do.
That's pretty slick.
Oh yeah.
They're nice.
They're nice.
Talking about
I like that.
1,500 to 3,000 gallons of water rolling with you, let alone foam and a dry chemical agent all in that truck. And you can pump and roll. You got 2 hand lines, one off each side, and you can just drive and work it. Great crash truck, maybe great brush truck, because we have air
Yeah.
shows. And then we get they come by and do the fake bombing of the air shows. That always catches our grass on fire. So we go out there. You don't have to get out of the AC. You can just sit there and drive right over top of it.
Nice.
We got
You guys do
sprinklers on the
wildland
bottom.
fires?
Do we do a lot of wildland fires? Not my department. We don't. Not here locally. We don't.
Yeah, we're pretty heavy in wildland fires.
Oh yeah. Y'all have to have red cards.
Oh yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, we've
Hate
got, yeah, our responses for wildland fires are pretty crazy. It depends on watershed, and the watershed basically is decided by how dry it is, how hot it is, windy, all that kind of stuff. So they'll go low, medium, or high, and then it just depends, which one it is to how many engines we get. But we'll get 6 engines. We'll get a couple of chiefs. We have fixed wing coming, 3 helicopters.
Jesus Christ.
A water tender, a Type 1 crew. I'm probably missing a few other things. Paramedic unit. Yeah, we get a lot. And that's just on like a medium. Low, is typical, like, it's like right now would be low during this time of years. But
So do you support the what is it, the California Wildland Firefighters Department or whatever?
So California is broken up into regions. And so each region's all the way from the north all the way to the south. And so they'll start pulling from regions, depending on where the fire is and how big it is and how many resources they're calling from or calling for. It just depends. And so we put together a certain dispatch criteria. So we have 5 engines as a strike team. I don't know if you guys probably do the same thing, right? Five engines and a chief strike team leader. No.
As far as like ICS stuff goes, yeah.
So yeah, right. And so yeah, if there's like a big fire up in Northern California and all their resources being pulled, our 5 engines from our particular dispatch center will be mobilized, and we'll go up north, and we can be up there for 2 weeks. So that's the Office of Emergency Services through California. The OES can be out for 21 days. But we typically in Orange County, we kind of have an agreement that, at day 14, which is really 16 days, because they give you a day up and a day back. We'll start to think about swapping crews at 14 days. So, but it's all has to be a coordinated effort, because it's all through the state, or it's through Fed, if it's a Fed fire, same thing. And we have to have all the proper paperwork has to be all filled out. So if you got one guy leaving and one guy not, one guy needs to go home, it could send the whole strike team home just because of freaking red tape. It's crazy.
Is that volunteer or is that voluntold?
That is voluntold. If you are on duty on a particular engine and a fire goes out, you gone. And then
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah. So that, we do a bid every year, and we know that engine 3 is the OES. And if there's a fire and you're on, you're gone. And when it comes to relief crews, they ask for volunteers, and typically you'll get a couple guys maybe, but maybe not a captain, let's say. And then they go to the force list, and whoever's working your captive audience and you're next up on the force list, you gone for 2 weeks. So you can imagine the manipulation that goes on around that.
So that's kind of like your Mando. That's another level of Mando for you guys.
Yeah. It's just another way to get mandoed. Yeah. But we don't do a lot of overhead. There's a lot of departments that are around us that'll do single function stuff, like line medic. You could go up to be a line medic. You can be a FOBS guy, where you're working with maps and you're doing weather for the IC and stuff like that. So there's some departments that'll send single resources, firefighters or paramedics, and they just drive up in a buggy and they get there and they go, "Hey, what do you need?" And so just depending on what your qualifications are. And, you know, of course, there's like a million qualifications you can get with task books and all that kind of stuff. And you get signed off on different fires or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty intense.
I have a friend, he's over at San Diego Navy, and he was telling me some stories, and his crew got to actually save Sam Elliott's house a couple years ago. They took pictures with Sam Elliott out there working a line with him in his property. But the question I got, do y'all have anything, if y'all have an accident that you get paid extra money? Because the one guy that works over at San Diego Navy, he used to be a hot shot or whatever. And they said that when guys would come back down from the mountain and about to check in, they will poop themselves right before they get there, because that was extra $300.
I don't know if that's worth $300 to me.
Dude, Freddie stole the words from my mouth.
No, I don't need it that bad.
But the thing is, you're in a group. Like, all of us were like, all right, guys, let's do this. I mean, it's a team effort. And if you joke me, hey man, I'm $300 richer than you are. But that's
hold
what
hands, sing Kumbaya, and shit themselves.
All right, everybody drink this Kool-Aid with me. Wait, how come everybody fell over?
That's what he told me. He never admitted to doing that, but there was like also another incentive, like I guess if you peed yourself or something like that, because you're out there in the woods by yourself, working to literally stay alive, right, Matt? In some situations.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I didn't know if you ever heard that, Matt, being on that side of the world.
No,
it's like bathroom Affleck.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, unless there's something I just don't know about it, you know, maybe it's the fine print that I don't read, you know, as we get out there, but
yeah,
it might be like a hot shot money thing, not like a city person.
Unky, you send me some of that seasonings, you know, I'll test it. Next time I'm out on a strike team, I'll shit myself and then I'll report back.
Oh, that sounds great.
That's good stuff.
And then if I get my $300, I'll split it.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, that's a really good stopping point, I think, for this episode. Really good time frame on that one. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Our recipe of the week this week is actually from a meal I had at the fire station last night. Guy on my crew, Sean, makes the best pot roast I've ever had in my life, and I've eaten a lot of pot roast coming from a middle class family. So it's just the way he seasons it and the ingredients he puts in addition to what you would think is a normal pot roast is so good. Just the flavor of it is amazing. The gravy that comes with it, it's just perfect. So we'll post that up this week, and you guys try that out when it's still cold outside. It's a good time to make a pot roast. So y'all check that out. So this week's rookie tip, let's throw it to Matt. Matt, give us a rookie tip for the week.
All you rookies out there, listen up. I'm the hammer. Just kidding. Hey, next episode 3, we're going to be talking about the crappy idea of getting up after you've fallen asleep for a call. No, not falling asleep for a call, but after you've fallen asleep, you have to go on a call. So that's what we're going to talk about. So my rookie tip for today is every good rookie shall go to bed last and wake up first. Okay. So a lot of people that aren't in the fire service might not understand firefighter probation. So since we're in the early stages of our podcast, maybe we haven't talked about it a lot, but it's almost like a rite of passage, probation. It's obviously a time to be evaluated and everything else to make sure that you're going to be safe on the job for yourself and for everybody else. But it is also a time to find out if we can work with you for the next 30 years. And that's a big part of our job. We sleep, we eat, we know each other very well. We're with each other, 50% of our lives. And so that's a time for you to come in and show that you want this job, you want to be here, and what kind of person that you are. And so that starts with going to bed last and studying up and getting up first and making sure you're the first one up, get the dishes going, flag. I don't know if you guys still have a newspaper. Welcome to 2023. We don't.
Yeah. Make
I'll
the
fire
coffee.
up the iPad.
Make the coffee.
2 pots of coffee.
And if you don't know how to make coffee, I think one of you guys on your TikToks teach how to make coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So It's important. And people that might not understand that part of the fire service, that's what we're here to maybe explain a little better. But that's my rookie tip.
All right, sounds good. Hey, good episode, guys. Enjoyed it this week. A lot of good information put out. We'll see you guys next week.